What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. Big trade today, obviously. One that I think most people expected at some point. I'm not sure we expected George Pickens 100%, although that was definitely on the table. So George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, obviously big news. Draft Pickens 101. Al Boogie, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Steven Hines, appreciate you coming in. I've definitely seen Pickens fly up the board a little bit. I got in one draft earlier today just to kind of see, and I like hopping on Twitter. I think I heard somebody tweeted that they saw him go at 22, which is wild. I saw him go at 55 today in the draft that I was in. We'll get into what I think about that in a minute here. But let's just chat about kind of what this means and what this looks like. So let's pull up the depth charts of the Dallas Cowboys first. Let's check it out. So we have Pickens in there, obviously, as the left wide receiver. Who was it that put that out there? I think it was, what's his name? Ray GQ, or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what his name is, but good follow, knows the stuff. Definitely a good ball knower. But he put out the heat maps for Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, basically illustrating that, this doesn't change anything for CeeDee Lamb, which I tend to agree with. But Daddy, what's happening? Disbanded. How you doing? But again, we'll get into that in a second here. Ray Garvin, that's who it is. Definitely ball knower for sure, but he put out the heat map. Basically, again, what he was illustrating is this changes nothing for CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens can coexist, is kind of what he was pointing out and pushing, which I absolutely agree with. But again, we'll get into that in a little bit. So looking at the depth chart here, they have CeeDee Lamb. This is Our Lads. This is what I use. This is actually, come to find out, this is what the website that Daniel Jeremiah uses as well as Our Lads. It's a fantastic site. If you don't use it, you should. It's the best resource as far as depth charts are concerned. But either way, they have CeeDee Lamb as the slot wide receiver, Tolbert and Pickens as the outside wide receivers. Realistically, CeeDee Lamb's going to be in, on the outside a fair amount. I don't think Tolbert's going to see a crazy amount of playing time. And I think Kevontae Turpin is going to be manning the slot a little more than, certainly than Tolbert. So looking at Kevontae Turpin's kind of, I guess, premium stats, this is obviously PFF. Looking at his premium stats, looking at where he lines up, what he does, he's a slot receiver. So of his pass, snaps, the passing snaps that he's lined up for, 77.8% of the time, 168 of his snaps are out of the slot, and then 42 out wide for 19.4%. So he's definitely lining up in the slot a lot more than anything. Calvin Austin, let's talk about let's go this route. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh side of things. Let's get into what this does for CeeDee Lamb. Let's just complete this Dallas thought process here. So again, I think Turpin slides into the slot a lot more. They paid him a pretty penny to not only be their kick returner, obviously, he's their kick and punt returner for sure, which he'll be pretty busy in that role, considering there should be a ton more, certainly kick returns happening this year in the NFL. But I think he lines up in the slot a little bit more than typical. So 168 is where he was. Let's say that gets up to 250, maybe snaps, 200 to 250 snaps in the slot, couple out wide. Maybe he goes from, let's say, where's he at now? 210 is where he's at currently. Maybe he gets up to 275, something like that in for wide receiver snaps, maybe more, hopefully more. I'm drafting him here and there as a spike week kind of guy, bring back, stack option, whatever. But hopefully he gets a little more playing time than just that. Tolbert, I think, becomes more of a backup with Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Brooks, that sort of a situation. Ryan Flournoy is there as well. And then it's Pickens on the outside. CeeDee Lamb, he's going to move around everywhere. He's going to play inside, outside. He's your number one target still by far. And then a little bit of Turpin. Jalen Tolbert will play a little bit. So as far as like, if we're just talking about value and what happens to CeeDee Lamb and does this hurt him? What happens with this? I tend to agree with Ray, GQ, FK Coolers. What's up, man? Flashland, how you doing? GM. I agree. I agree with Ray. I don't think this hurts CeeDee Lamb one bit. So if CeeDee Lamb starts falling, I have only done one draft and he went at 4th overall. So that's definitely not a slide. If he does, then I'm going to be picking off a ton of shares. So look at it this way. If we equate the Dallas Cowboys offense with the LA Rams offense, right? We have Puka Nacua, who goes right behind CeeDee Lamb, 2 picks away, basically the same thing. And then I think we would all agree that Davante Adams should be picked higher than George Pickens, regardless of anything. And as you know, obviously we're looking at the current situation where he's on the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you pick first, George Pickens or Davante Adams? For me, it's Davante Adams. And then obviously Dak Prescott had gone before Matt Stafford and will continue to go, maybe pulls up a little bit, continue to go ahead of Matt Stafford. So if we're okay clicking Puka Nacua where we click them, you kind of have to be okay clicking CeeDee Lamb, considering I would say, I don't know if everyone would agree with me, but I would say CeeDee Lamb is a better wide receiver than Puka Nacua. And I definitely don't think that that's a hot take whatsoever. So, roundabout way of saying, I still like CeeDee Lamb's price. I'll still be clicking CeeDee Lamb. If he falls ADP wise, I'll end up with a shit ton of CeeDee Lamb. So we'll see where that lands. I think this absolutely obviously helps this offense. No question. They're pretty solid everywhere realistically on this offensive line. Bringing in Tyler Booker, 3 Tylers on their offensive line, which is pretty interesting. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, and Tyler Booker. Cooper Beebe should be able to get the job done. Terrence Steele has been good. And they can piece it together, beyond that. Robert Jones comes in, Sadiq Charles, Hakeem Adeniji. They've got some pieces back there. This is a quality offense, a very, very quality offense. When you add Jaden Blue as a bit of a game breaker type of a running back, pass catching option, lightning sort of a guy, and then your pass blocker, like Javonte Williams is basically Zeke last year, just a fantastic pass blocker, can do some things, can do some goal line stuff, but realistically, it's going to be a pass first type of an offense, in my opinion. And then some of these other ancillary options that are going to kind of help out. But that's how I see the Dallas Cowboys. Let's pop over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is where it's a lot more interesting. Like, yeah, the Typhel Tower in Pittsburgh for sure. It's a lot more interesting on the Pittsburgh side. So, I mean, it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is still on the table. I think he probably is, but I don't think that the Steelers are scared to go into the season with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. That's something that I said how many times on this channel before the draft, where I just had a really good feeling that Will Howard was going to Pittsburgh, and turns out I was right on that one. And yeah, I don't think they're scared of going into the season with just these 2 quarterbacks. We'll see if they actually do. Chances are very high that they bring in Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think that deserves to be talked about too much. I'm not drafting Mason Rudolph like he's the starter in Pittsburgh. That's for sure. But this offense is definitely a little more in flux, like considering what they had realistically. Like, when was the last time the Pittsburgh offense had 2 like top tier quality wide receivers, DK Metcalf, George Pickens? Now they're down to just DK Metcalf, which is fine. But now what happens, and where does the playing time go for the other wide receiver positions here, the other wide receiver pieces? Obviously, DK gets a bit of a boost now, because he doesn't have to fight for those outside targets, and he's going to be on the field. He's going to be the most targeted wide receiver in this offense, and it's not even close to being close. So DK gets a little bit of a bump up, in my opinion, as far as ADP is concerned. But then, like, who else plays where? So digging into it a little bit, let's look at Calvin Austin. This is his draft profile from when he was with the Memphis Tigers. So straight out of college. Mind you, he's 5'8", 162 pounds. But he lined up on the outside the overwhelming majority while at Memphis. That hasn't been the case in the NFL. Obviously, size is a big concern. So that hasn't been the case in the NFL. Are they going to line him up outside? Probably a little bit. It was about 37-62. We can pull it up if you want, but it was about 37% in the slot. Sorry, 37% outside and 62% in the slot last year for Calvin Austin. And I think that's where he excels. So then what happens? Robert Woods is there. You know, he can definitely play outside, but he's 33 years old. He's had some injuries. He's not a guy that you can exactly rely on. He is a good run blocker, so it should be fine. And they probably, like, snap-wise, he probably will be on the field more than any other wide receiver on this offense as far as the snap percentage is concerned. Roman Wilson, third-round pick last year, obviously couldn't stay healthy, had some issues last year. Does he slide into the slot? I don't know. And then if he does, is Calvin Austin on the outside? I think we see a lot of, substitutions in this offense. Like if we're second and short or second and long, like let's say, Caleb Johnson's in there. He gets a 1 yard gain. It's 2nd and 9. Maybe you bring in Calvin Austin on the outside, Roman Wilson in the slot in a 3 wide receiver set, and Robert Woods comes off the field. I don't know. Third downs, that sort of a thing. What happens? I think that any third down, realistically, you do that. You put Calvin Austin on the outside and you put Roman Wilson in the slot, DK on the outside as well in 11 personnel. Maybe you still run a lot of 12 personnel. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, even when you're, third and mid, 3rd and 6, that sort of thing. So I don't know. It's a really, the Steelers are a bit of an enigma. Like, I'm not exactly sure what their plan is. Like, maybe they have another trade in the process. Does Keenan Allen make sense here? I don't think so. I really don't. I think you have Roman Wilson, you have Calvin Austin, you have Robert Woods. Do you really need a 34-year-old Keenan Allen to come in here for one season? I don't know. I mean, maybe they think that. Maybe they think that Aaron Rodgers can give them a win now, Super Bowl window. I don't agree with that statement, but maybe that's what they think. Regardless of what I think, maybe that's what the Steelers think. Or there's another trade on the table somewhere. I don't really know. It's really interesting. A guy like Christian Kirk could make a lot of sense for a retrade, for the Texans, trade him to the Steelers, get him out of the way for Jalen Noel, something like that. I don't know. There's a couple other guys, John Mechie. Like if I'm the Steelers or if I'm anybody, but let's use the Steelers because that's who we're talking about. But if I'm anybody and I'm looking for a wide receiver, I'm calling the Houston Texans. They have a bunch of guys that can play in this league, and we know that they can at least play, including Xavier Hutchinson, who might make a lot of sense in this offense as well. I don't know. Looking at the chat, Hartman, what's happening? Good to see you, man. Pitt's offense dead. Not sure what you mean by that. Pitt's offense dead. Not sure what you mean by that. Is there a world where Pickens' deal was simply bullish for the 2 main running backs and they run the hell out of football? Most likely, yeah. Like regardless, that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do. So they're going to be running a lot of 12 personnel regardless of anything. They would have, even with George Pickens still there, they would have been doing a lot of 12 personnel. You have Darnell Washington, who's literally like another offensive lineman out there, and Pat Freiermuth can hold his own as far as blocking is concerned. So yeah, just run a lot of 12. You got DK Metcalf on one side, Robert Woods on the other, just a really good, run blocking wide receiver. And then you run the shit out of the ball. That's going to be their MO regardless. Always has been, always will be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you could use it as being bullish for the running backs for sure. I don't think it really changes their value much. to be like, I think it's basically a wash. I really don't think it changes anything for the running backs. They're still just as draftable or undraftable as they were before. Maybe Jaylen Warren gets a little more kind of split out in the slot sort of stuff. But I don't think that that's going to change too much either with Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin in there as well. They definitely got to get Roman Wilson going. Obviously, third round pick, pretty high draft capital, being injured all season. They're going to want to get him going a little bit. But we'll see where that kind of lands. I don't think Allen Lazard is coming over. Like, he restructured and made himself very affordable for the Jets. I really don't see anything happening there. I think maybe next year. But I really don't see it happening. Like, I really don't, unless they want to offer the Jets like a 5th round pick or something stupid. And if they do, then sure, the Jets, I'm sure, will take that. But realistically, I don't think Allen Lazard is going anywhere. I think he's going to be on the Jets this year. He's just made himself too affordable on that contract. If Rodgers signs, he'll find a way to get Lazard. Yeah, I just don't think so. I really don't. Again, unless the Pittsburgh Steelers want to throw a 5th round pick the Jets way, which would be a horrible use of draft capital. I mean, we saw Jonathan Mingo go for a 4th round pick, wasn't it, to the Dallas Cowboys? So I'm not going to say it's impossible. I just think it's highly unlikely, considering the way I think that the Jets want to play offense and the like affordability of the contract now. When he redid his deal, he took a massive, like almost $10 million pay cut, to stay with the Jets at the time. And I don't think that changes. They're certainly not going to cut him. So we'll see how that goes. Kings, Frank, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Value bump with Warren, like maybe a little pass work. Yeah, exactly. Maybe a little bit more, but I don't think enough to make a difference as far as value is concerned. So yeah, the Steelers are a bit of an enigma. Candyman, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. I don't again, they're going to continue to run the shit out of the ball. They're going to do that regardless, even with Pickens still on the roster. That's 100%. They were still going to run the ball. That's just the Pittsburgh Steelers MO. Run the ball, play good defense. Run the ball, play good defense. Always has been, always will be. Unless they go ahead and sign, some sort of crazy offensive guru, which I just don't think. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, DK Metcalf gets a bit of a bump. Nothing really crazy, though, honestly. It changes a little bit, gets him a little bit of a bump. I don't know, maybe half a round tops as far as a bump there. Calvin Austin is certainly draftable now. I think I have a few shares of him in the big board in the pre-draft season. I think I have a few shares before DK came in. But Calvin Austin's definitely draftable. Roman Wilson, you could do worse when you're throwing flyers in the 18th round. I think Roman Wilson, we all got burned by that last year, but you never know. I mean, it's possible. It's draftable. I wouldn't probably do it. Maybe a little bit of Calvin Austin. Robert Woods, I don't think so. I think like snap percentage, yeah, he'll be out there running routes. So if you need a guy or want a guy that's just out there running routes, then go nuts on Robert Woods. Excuse me. Holy, didn't even get a chance to mute. That came out of nowhere. And then as far as the Cowboys side, nothing happens to CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion. George Pickens gets a bit of a boost because obviously the quarterback, massive quarterback difference, massive offensive coordinator difference. So he does get a bit of a boost, but obviously 22 is way too high. 55, maybe. Let's take a look at it. Any one and done tips? I'm leaning Burger. That probably is good. I didn't do a model. I didn't do my golf stuff this week. I just got way too busy. Just doing some renos in the house. I got way too busy. So I didn't do my golf stuff this week. But I'm looking forward to the PGA. Check next week for the PGA. I'll definitely have at least a tip for you. Who knows if it makes sense, or maybe you've already used the guy, but we'll go on that road next week. I didn't do my golf stuff this week though, so I don't want to give any half-hearted tips. Let's jump into a puppy. I'm still not drafting any more Best Ball Manias Definitely not any eliminators. I'm pushing the Schnauzer. Looks like it's going to be fine for when the schedule drops, which is in a week exactly. So next Wednesday, we will have there'll be a big episode where we're going over, bringing a bunch of guests. We'll talk about matchups and all that kind of stuff. So hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We'll do all the news and notes. Hit the subscribe button if you like the content. Hit the like button, helps me out. And 1 week from today, we'll be talking about the matchups that are very, very, very important, as we all know, heading into hot best ball summer. So let's jump into a puppy. 30-second clock gives everybody a chance to get in as well. These don't fill as quickly. We're waiting on 8, so we got tons of time. If you're in the chat, jump in and you want to draft. Yeah, we get a little bit more time for you guys to get in, a little bit more time to make our picks. Man, my allergies are getting to me. There we go. Best Ball on Call. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in. 30-second clock. If you guys want to get in, it's a puppy 30-second clock, not a 20-second clock, 30-second clock. And then we'll kind of take it from there. Get rid of my rankings. My rankings don't matter. I might just get rid of those right now. I might just clear them. Where are they? I'm going to clear the rankings because they're completely useless. Let's clear it up. There we go. Which I have to do. I have to do my rankings because I do want to get my rankings in and kind of load it up and then leave them for probably like 2 months. I don't think I'm going to touch my rankings unless someone tears the ACL or something major, that I'll just take them out completely, or like, a legal issue, something like that. Then I'll take them out of my rankings completely. But I don't want to tinker with my rankings early. Realistically, we have except for trades. If there's a trade that happens, obviously you can adjust, but realistically, there is no reason to adjust rankings right now. Come up with your rankings, fix your rankings, get them set, stick to your priors until there's reason to move or reason to change, then change. And again, you can always toggle back and forth between, your rankings and ADP. So if there's some ADP movement for God knows why, for silly reasons, which there always are, then you can still follow along with ADP and get your shares if you see fit. There's definitely some guys going a little bit earlier than I want to be taking them. So that's another big reason why I want to get my rankings in. I am not picking Jordan Addison at all. I'm not picking Jordan Addison, period. I don't like the Vikings offense this year. I really, really don't. I don't like JJ McCarthy as a quarterback. I don't like him as a passer. And he is still a rookie. Like, are we really expecting JJ McCarthy to walk into this offense and throw for 30 touchdowns? If you are, you must believe in fool's gold. I don't know what to tell you, but I just do not see that happening. So I'm docking Jordan Addison, not just for the legal issues. Yeah, you can do it for the legal issues too, but I'm docking JJ, Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson's the only kind of guy in this offense that I don't mind at his price. I haven't really drafted him much, but I don't mind TJ Hawkinson at his cost. I think that security blanket tight end sort of situation over the middle of the field is fine to bet on. But is anything else, I'm leery personally. I'm not drafting a lot of Vikings whatsoever, except for the runners, which is actually just Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason and TJ Hawkinson for me are the only Vikings that I'm really looking to draft. Anyone else I'm kind of pretty much out on. I'm probably going to have Justin Jefferson ranked 6th overall. That's probably a hot take, but Boogie, this is a puppy 30-second clock. Waiting on 4. 30 seconds, not 20 seconds. If it doesn't fill quick enough, we'll maybe go to a 20. But we're waiting on 3, so we'll wait it out. It's worth the wait. Not a big deal. But I'll have Justin Jefferson ranked 6. This will be my rankings, and this won't change. Chase, Gibbs, CeeDee, Bijan, Barkley, JJ. Something like that. It might be like this. That's fine. Regardless, I'm not too worried about it. That would be the only change, would be Gibbs and Lamb. Maybe they flip-flop. But I really like Gibbs. So that's going to be my top 6. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Probably not at all. So we'll see. Emo Cowboy, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Maybe I end up with Justin Jefferson here. We'll see. Al Boogie gets the Influencer 101. King of Kings in the 2 spot. FJ in the 4 spot. Me in the 6. Champ X in the 7. Foot up your ass 12. All right. All right. I'm surprised he's allowed to have that name. That's interesting. Foot up your ass 12. All right. DMH 9 in the 10 spot. Who is that in the chat? Who is that in the chat? I can never, if it's not your chat name, your underdog and your chat name, it gets a little confusing. I know who that is though. As soon as they pipe up, then I'll remember. But yeah, it is a great name. I'm surprised he's allowed, like just with having ass in there. Foot up your ass 12. Oh, that's Hartman. There we go. Hartman's DMH. There you go. My apologies. It's so confusing when the chat name and the underdog name are different. Sometimes it gets a little confusing. Banky Boo, Jason Antman. Couple badgeless in here. Let's see who I end up with. For me, it's these 6, and I'm not taking anyone else. Do I end up with Justin Jefferson? That'd be hilarious if I do. I really don't know how Gibbs is falling. Like, I would have Gibbs ranked. Oh, I do get Jefferson. Wow, that's my first share. That's crazy. That is kind of funny. Yeah, I got the 101. I don't have much 101 at all. I don't think I have 10 BBMs so far. And I have 1 Jamar Chase. 1 out of 10. Okay. Here we go. All right. Let Burrow fall to 72 for Tyler so I can post to X. Yeah. I don't know if I'll let you do that. Yeah. If he makes it to 67, I'll be picking him. I'll be the Huckleberry and take naked Joe Burrow. I'll figure it out later. It's pretty easy to backstack Joe Burrow. That I'm not gonna let that happen. If I'm in a draft, he's not getting to 72. Pretty much for sure. Unless I'm like on this end of the board, then maybe. Like if I'm at the 12 hole, maybe I would let him get by me because there's just other things I got to do. But being in the middle of the board, never going to happen. Never going to happen. I'm with you, but I'm low on Jefferson, so I have to take exposure at some point. I hear you. I got him for $5 right now. I'll take him in the 6th spot. I'll happily take Justin Jefferson in the 6th hole. Happily. But I'm not taking him over any of these guys ahead of him. So, what do we want to do here? Justin Jefferson. It's my first share, so it's pretty wide open with what I can or want to do. Let's take Achan. I've been doing a little bit of work on roster construction. Been doing a little bit of work on that and what I want it to look like. I got to do a little bit more work on that, and shout out to Billy Jones. You probably know him from Pat's channel from the Fantasy Dog Pound. Just did an episode adjusting the ranks, that sort of thing. I was on an episode with him last week, something like that, 2 weeks ago, whatever, week and a half ago, maybe. Puts together some nice charts, and I've been using those to build out basically ideal roster constructions through a certain amount of rounds, and it's through 10. So there's two kind of milestones or thresholds that I've been playing with through 6 rounds, like roster construction through 6 rounds and roster construction through 10 rounds. And what's optimal for what I think is the optimal strategy this year. And I think the optimal strategy this year is not necessarily 0 RB, but hero RB or dual RB. Basically, I want to have 2 running backs through 10 rounds. And I would like them to be like workhorse types of backs. So like Genty McCaffrey, sure. Barkley Taylor, absolutely. And then I'm pretty much done drafting running backs until at least round 11 or 12. We'll see. That's kind of where I'm at right now. We'll see where it like finalizes. And I do have to play with some numbers a little bit more, but that's kind of where I'm at right this second. Rashee Rice is flying up the boards. Marvin Harrison has kind of been flying up the board, which is pretty interesting. Let's do Terry McLaurin. I think that's an easy click right there. Yeah, for some, I don't particularly know why Marvin Harrison is flying up the board. Like, even if they drafted someone, unless it was, I guess if it was first round, and there was a lot of potential. Obviously, like, you know, Frank's taking the double stack Arizona here, but regardless, that's where he's going. ADP wise, that's where Marv is going. And I guess there was some, you know, some chatter, some possibility that the Cardinals go first round wide receiver. Like Matthew Golden was absolutely on the table, on the board for them to take. They didn't, but it was a possibility. And there were some other options. They just didn't take anybody. So I guess it does push them up. But realistically, I didn't, unless it was a first round wide receiver or second, I guess. But like if they took a third, fourth, fifth, sixth round wide receiver, I really don't think that changes much for Marvin Harrison. I really don't. So I don't think he should be flying up the board at all. What's his ADP at right now? I think it's basically right where he took him. Yeah, 27 and taken at 20. Yeah, right at ADP. So there's no reach there, that's for sure. This is just kind of the new. I guess that's a slide a little bit for Trey McBride, but it's just interesting that Marv is moving up the board for no real reason. That's why I want to make my rankings right away. I want to make my rankings and then stick to them for months, at least probably until training camp opens. Unless something crazy happens, like I said, a legal issue or a torn ACL, something crazy happens, then I can just take them out of my rankings completely. That's something that makes sense. But other than that, I'm not going to change my rankings. I just don't think that there's any reason to. Let's just make it easy on ourselves and go Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin. And just stick to my priors. That's what I want to do. As these guys rise, they rise. Wonderful. I don't really give a shit. Like, I really don't care that they're rising artificially. I'm not trying to chase that artificial rise. Again, you can toggle between your rankings and ADP and just kind of make it work from there. Anchor RB. Yeah, I don't know all the names. I just draft. I don't know I know 0 RB. I know hero RB. Anchor RB, I guess, is 2. That's dual RB. I don't know. But either way, I think drafting less running backs early Makes more sense. Chad, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Oh shit, Frank right next to me. Yeah, you got to be careful. Great pick. Banky Boo takes your. That's the badge list for you. That's the badge list. They just click buttons a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but you see it a lot, especially with quarterbacks. Like that's why when you see you're in these rooms, again, that's why I don't think it makes sense to push Joe Burrow at all. I really, really don't. Not yet. It could get there, and his ADP is falling down to 50 right now. That's not really falling, but we see him go kind of towards the back end. I've seen some clips where he's almost making it back to 72. Like if his ADP starts falling to like 58, something like that, then you can be a lot more confident and comfortable pushing him to 72 to the 6-7 turn. Yeah, that's really the only way. If I'm going Chase Higgins, I'm 100% taking Joe Burrow here in the 4-5 turn. If I just have Chase, yeah, you can push him, no problem. If you just have T Higgins, absolutely, you can push him, no problem, and see if it does, cool. If he doesn't, not a big deal, right? Like you didn't like set yourself up to have to need Joe Burrow, sort of a thing. It's only if I'm taking Chase and T Higgins here, then I'm just taking Joe Burrow. Like I'm not trying to push him. I'm not trying to do anything crazy, get cute. I'm just gonna take him. Let's go. Let's go Ridley. Let's take DK. Let's live a little. He should jump up a little bit. Let's take him right at ADP. Doesn't really matter. Like Tennessee, Miami, or Pittsburgh, all AFC teams, not necessarily what I want to click. And if I take, Waddle with HN, then I feel like I have to take Tua, which isn't the worst, but I just don't want to. I got Burrow at 68 with T this morning. Yeah, but it was just T, right? So if you just have one, then yeah, push him. Push him. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you can get unique that way too, because how many, Joe Burrow, T Higgins, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase teams are there going to be? And you could say the same thing for having Jamar Chase and T Higgins without Joe Burrow. There's going to be a ton where they have the double stack there. But if I'm doing that, then I'm just going to take Joe Burrow. That's just kind of where I'm at. I'm just going to do it. If I take Jamar Chase at 1, T Higgins at 24, then I'm taking Joe Burrow at 48, right? I'm just doing it. If I only have one, absolutely push it. Give it a shot. If it works like it did for you this morning, perfect. If it doesn't, who gives a shit? You're not too worried about it. Really doesn't change much for you. It doesn't hurt you at all. Steven, what's happening, man? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Banky Boo Boo is a wild card. Absolutely he is. Takes RJ Harvey at 53. That's aggressive. The more badges in the room, the less fancy I get. Absolutely. Get your guys, especially if they're, right beside you, like this guy is for me. I'm not going to push anything. I'm just going to get my guys, get my stacks, make it work. I'm not going to get cute. Yeah, just do what you got to do. They usually make too many mistakes to get cute. Yeah. Well, they're just clicking buttons or just players they like, or, oh, I need a quarterback here. Oh, I need a wide receiver here. Oh, I need this, that. Usually they fill up their roster. So I would expect there's no tight end for him to take, but kind of as soon as this guy can, I see him taking a tight end. He probably takes, if I had to bet, he takes another running back here. But we'll see. Let's just take Debo, get ourselves a little double stack with the Washington side. Trevion Henderson's falling. He probably goes Trevion Henderson. Oh, there you go. Took a running back, though. It's pretty easy to tell what they're going to do typically. Like if there was a tight end, maybe he takes Hawkinson right here at 77. Might not. But it's pretty easy to see what these badgeless drafters are going to do. Man, Harvey's ADP is at 56 now. That's fucking crazy. That is fucking ridiculous. It's really at 56. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Have fun with your Harvey shares. Whatever I have in the big board season is what I'm going to stick with. You couldn't pay me to take RJ Harvey over even Chuba, Kenny Walker, Kamara, Trevion. Maybe like with Trevion, I suppose. Like, what are we expecting on RJ Harvey to go in the 5th fucking round? Like, that's pretty wild to me. Like, probably give me Joe Mixon over Harvey, and I hate Joe Mixon. Everybody knows that. But over Alvin Kamara, give me a break. Even Chuba, like, give me Quinshawn over RJ Harvey. Honestly, that's wild to me. I guess he didn't pull him up, but whatever. That's wild. That is when you get good value from ADP fallers. Can't remember what we're talking about, but yeah, I'll agree with that. When you're in the middle of the draft, or when these badgeless zombies are clicking buttons out there. Yeah. Yeah. Love Chuba. You would, eh? Stars, I think that's the first time I've seen you in here. Appreciate you coming in. Let's go with Diggs. It's an easy click, I think. As my wide receiver 5, that's a pretty easy click. Yeah, he is the bait. Like, that's crazy. 56 is his ADP. That's wild. I've kind of been slow in the streets, waiting for the schedule to drop so I can draft like a psycho. But that's wild. Like, that is absolutely wild. Give me Tony Pollard over RJ Harvey. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. The expectations are through the roof. I'll have 0% RJ Harvey at that price. Like, that's just out of hand. And realistically, like, he's not going to fall. Not likely, anyways. That's just nuts to me. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Frank got great value on Trevion. Absolutely, he did. Yeah, pick 71 for Trevion. Attaboy. That's nice. Kamara, great value. Yeah, he's an easy click for me. I don't know why he doesn't get taken as much as he should. Just there's new toys, sexy new toys like RJ Harvey out there, I guess, which is madness. But you can get value, but they're absolutely taking your QB at least half the time if you wait. Absolutely. That's why, yeah, you can't push a Joe Burrow. Maybe if you're in like a full red badge room, like a streamer draft, you might actually be able to make that happen. But it's risky regardless. I'm going to get a little bit fun. I'm just going to get fun and take Cam Scatterboo. I haven't drafted him yet at all, which is kind of annoying. I don't want to be like that. So let's do it. Let's bring him in. Yeah, you just got to know the risk. Absolutely. Like I said, you can push guys like Joe Burrow, like Goff. Even I wouldn't. Like, it depends on how much of a stack you have. If it's just like Chase or Higgins or something like that, and you try to push Burrow, absolutely give it a shot. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Not the end of the world. But if you're double stack, triple stack, earlier today, I tried to push Tua when I had Achane, Waddle, and Jonnu Smith, and tried to push Tua just to his ADP. It would have been 2 picks before his ADP. My pick was 151. His ADP is 153. So I tried to push him to 151, and he got taken on me. So I had 3 naked Dolphins on my team, which is kind of whatever. But either way, like, again, just depends on if you're willing to risk it for the biscuit. Finally, some sense. The Rooks are crazy right now. Yeah, they're aggressive. Yeah, Pollard's a fantastic click. I like it. Hashtag QBs matter. They certainly do. They're the best advanced pieces on the board, realistically. Hate being in a room with badgeless. Still don't have mine. That's all right. Badges honestly don't mean shit. They really don't. It's just like they get a bad rap. The badgeless get a bad rap because of people like, not necessarily Banky Boo here, but kind of. Like, again, like there's no rhyme or reason as far as like, strategy and structure. So that's why, obviously best ball and call, you're not like that. We know that. But typically if you're in a room full of badgeless, you're like, oh man, what's this guy going to do? What is this guy going to do? Even this guy here, another badgeless, just no real rhyme or reason, not setting anything up, not necessarily stacking in any particular way. It's just, yeah, it's how she goes, man. It's how she goes. Let's do Josh Downs. So this is typical for how I'm going to be building. A lot of this type, oh geez, a lot of this type of structure, at least through like 10 rounds. So I can take another running back, which I probably will do, or quarterback or tight end, something like that. Probably not tight end. This is going to be my structure this year. Very firm on this structure, type of structure. I'm at a 1-2-6-0 right now. That's going to be very common for me. In a room full of in a full red badge room, but one of them is OTS. You ain't pushing Burrow. No, man, you're not. Again, unless I'm on the end. If I'm on in the 12 hole, 11 spot, I might not take him because it might not make sense for what I'm doing. Plus, I have to wait, blah blah blah. But if I'm in the middle of the room and it's all red badges, you ain't getting them. You ain't. I'm not letting them get past me at 60 whatever. That's for sure. So that's a fair statement, Hartman. In that scenario, AR outplays Tua week 17. Probably if he's on the field. Like Tua hasn't produced in the fantasy football playoffs in his entire career, so he's a risky click, that's for sure. There's a lot to like, there's a lot to not like about that offense. So yeah, but if you're just popping in, hit that like button if you don't mind. If you like the content, hit subscribe. I'll be drafting all summer. It's a little bit slower going right now because I'm waiting for the schedule to drop. We have 1 week to wait, and then the schedule will be released. We'll have a big episode. We'll have some fun. We'll talk about the matchups, and then we'll be drafting like psychos for the rest of the summer. So hit that like button and subscribe button if you don't mind. You can get a badge just from involving me nothing. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything, man. It really doesn't. Plus, who knows what sport it's from? Like, guys can be drafting dailies in the NBA and then jump in the NFL streets and draft like shit, and we expect more from them because they have a badge. It means nothing. It's just like there's always a concern that someone without a badge is going to do some crazy stuff and kind of ruin your day. But it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. We're bringing in Drake May here. Pair him up with my Stephon Diggs. And now I'm done at quarterback. So again, this right here is going to be exactly a very common through 10 round structure for me. Very, 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 very common structure for me personally. 2-2-6-0 is going to be very, very, very common for how I build and my roster construction heading into this best ball season. I'd like to have a little bit more strength at running back here, but it is what it is because now it thins out a ton. It's crazy thin at running back, but there's a lot of like 0 RB type of targets that I don't mind in this area and even later in the draft. And I think the cliff at wide receiver is extreme. And that's something that I want to avoid and get ahead of. I think things are going to move back towards a few years ago where that is the strategy. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to stick with it unless things shift. So we'll see. I don't think it will. What does the black badge mean? Black badge, I think, is 500 drafts, and then red badge is 1,000, I think. Casualty, I believe. Oh, we got here. Black badge is like level 1. You get 500 for the black badge, I believe, and then I think it's 1,000 for the red badge. I don't think it is a certain amount of winnings. I don't think the winnings mean anything. I'm pretty sure it's just straight up volume. You have to draft. Went straight to red? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it did. I don't know. They need to fix it. They need to make some cooler badges and do some different things and kind of have some fun with it. Cause yeah, it's pretty boring with just all the red, black, red. Like there's got to be something funner in there. Let's bring in Kyle Williams, and this opens the door for us to be stopping at 7 wide receivers. And it's actually quite likely, but we'll see where it lands. Now I got my double stack Washington, double stack New England. I like that. These builds feel great. People can advance with weak wide receiver, but you're dead to win if you don't have the firepower at wide receiver. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot. I thought, like, when I was drafting last year, I thought there was a lot of wide receiver value at the end of the drafts. I thought personally. And I was drafting a lot of the Saquons, the Derrick Henry situation, all that kind of stuff. I was drafting a ton of because I thought the value was actually at wide receiver at the end of drafts. And it ended up working out pretty good for me last year. Is that going to be the case this year? I don't know. Like, we don't know what's going to be right this year. But I think personally that there's not a lot of value at wide receiver at the end of drafts at all this year. There's a ton of value at tight end, and then more value at running back than the other positions. Another thing for me is quarterbacks. I'm not drafting quarterbacks late. I am not. I'll probably have like 0% a lot of these guys down here. Like on occasion, I might, like, I want to be done drafting quarterbacks right now. Penix and Tua would be the only like viable clicks in my opinion. After that, like, yeah, if you get shut out at quarterback or you have some backstack options, or not even really, it's only if I get shut out. If I get shut out at quarterback, then yeah, I'll take the Bryce Young, Matt Stafford, Geno Smith, Darnold, that kind of stuff. But I want to be done, finished, completely drafting quarterbacks. I'll be doing pretty much nothing but 2 quarterback builds. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. I don't see myself doing much at all of any other structure besides 2 quarterback builds. We'll see, but I don't think that that's going to change on me. I'd like to go, wow, let's just take some value. No, I don't want to do that. Let's take Spears. I think makes the most sense. Tyler Warren's there. Yeah, sure. But I don't think he makes sense for this team. I really don't. I'd rather get running back with this pick. Banky Boo, get yourself some value with the tight end there. But that's just my opinion. That's my strategy. That's where I'm at. Black is cash in 50 contests. Red is cash in 100. I don't even know what these mean, man, if I'm being honest. I don't know. You tell me. 0 RB, puke. I'm going to be heavy 0 RB. I've had 136 a lot, and the next pick took a quarterback. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of me. That's for sure. A lot of me. Very similar. It'll be June before I start hitting BBM in the eliminator hard and heavy. So my wife has about 3 weeks to let me know what's on her mind. There you go. There you go. I don't think I told everyone in my channel. I spilled the beans on Candyman's channel the other night. My wife's pregnant. So pretty excited about that. We're doing, that's another reason why the streams have been a little bit on the slower side. We're doing some renos, getting the baby room all fixed up and ready to go. So it's fucking nightmare, man. It's a pain in the ass doing renos, as I'm sure everybody in this chat knows. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we've been a little as soon as I get that all wrapped up, then we'll be hot and heavy. Don't remember the black. Yeah, that's fair. I don't even know how we get them then. I don't even know how we get them. The horns are cool. You get those from winning a battle royale. That's tough. They're not easy to get those. You get badges from winnings or volume. Okay. I have no idea. Yeah, they need to make just some cool different badges. Like, I don't really care exactly what the badges are. Definitely gonna take some Kyle Pitts action here. Like, I don't care what the badges exactly are, as long as there's just like different badges for different things. You know, we need something cool, something different. Separate badges from Pickens other sport. I agree with that. They just need to make more badges, make things harder to get, easy to get, fun ones, whatever ones, you know. Yeah, maybe I won't be clicking Tyler Shuck personally at all. Best Ball Bonanza. Oh, CLN. There we go. Appreciate you. So you know what they volume draft or bet. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that. Separate it. I'm good with that. Just make more badges, man. Make it more fun. I know they've been working on it and talking about it, but I haven't seen anything. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Wide receiver always lasting throughout the draft if you know ball. Good luck with that, man. Good luck with that. It dries up. Like, there's some good clicks in the end. There's a few good clicks, and things might change and probably will towards training camp. But as it sits right now, I'm not pushing wide receiver too much. I've done a few one quarterback builds with Lamar to see if it's possible. I mean, Liam won BBM with just Josh Allen essentially the year he won. So you never know. I definitely do love the 180 to 130s for quarterbacks. Absolutely. I'm taking 2 in that range. If I get one earlier, cool. Like, I'm done taking my 2 quarterbacks by then 100%. And that's just going to be my firm strategy this year. You know what's funny? Everyone says how deep the running back draft class was, and then all these running backs go so early. Yeah, I mean, there's still a ton of value at running back, in my opinion. My guy Jarquez Hunter's still at the end of drafts, right? Like, I still think that there's a lot of value at the end of these drafts at running back. And even in these, like, so I want to be taking quarterbacks in the middle rounds here, like rounds, 8 through 12, right? And then there's a bunch of running backs in this pocket with like Benson, Ray Davis, Rashad White, Spears. Ramondre is falling, which is a little crazy. He's tons of value, in my opinion, with Ramondre. Algiers right here. Braylon Allen is here. Even Rico, you could sell yourself on. Roshan Johnson, people are clicking. I'm not, but I can understand the click. Yeah, there's just tons of value. So I still think that that's the way to go. Just an observation. Yeah. Hey, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Meat Gazer, appreciate that. Disbanded, thanks, man. James, appreciate you. Thanks, Al. Frank, appreciate you. Terrence, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's exciting times. Exciting times in the Woodman household. It's exciting times. Let's do Braylon Allen. Let's just do Braylon Allen. I need running back, I need running back here. And he's a bring back on the New England side. So let's do that. Terrence, appreciate you, man. Best ball on call. Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's my first. We're excited. It's going to be a fun adventure. The 0RB badge is one dog getting mounted by another. Yeah, that would be a good one. That would be good. Not all badge lists drop down. 100% they don't. No, I 100% they don't. There's a lot of extremely good drafters that are badgeless. 100% they don't. It's just like very common that they do. So again, it's like once I see a drafter, like again, this guy, where was he? Banky Boo here. Took one look at his start and said, yeah, this guy's 100% going running back. Boom, there's a running back. I'm surprised he hasn't taken a tight end yet. Wow, we got that value there. Brings up Mason Taylor. Okay. Usually they fill up their roster and then you just know. You'll know by like round 5 if they're a good drafter or not. So then just take it from there and just react accordingly. It doesn't mean, just because they don't have a badge. Again, badges don't mean a goddamn thing. They don't mean shit. Doesn't mean you're good, bad, indifferent, anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like take each, kind of name as it, at face value, and see how they draft and kind of take it from there and adjust your strategy if you need to change anything around kind of what they're doing. But no, they don't mean anything. They really, really don't mean anything. I am going to take Mike Gesicki. I don't want to force in Zach Ertz here. I have my double stack. I really don't. I think Gesicki has a higher ceiling. Maybe their floors are the same, but I think Gesicki has a higher ceiling. So let's go down that road. Let's go down that road. I'm about 2 minutes behind, but congrats on the kiddo. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Commies Jalen Lane goes and drafted. You're welcome. Yeah, I absolutely know who Jalen Lane is. For me, it was before in the big board, it was Jalen Lane over Ty Felton as just a prospect. And I still believe in that. They went around the same range. I think Ty Felton went at the last pick of the third round or something like that. I believe literally the last pick. And then Jalen Lane went in the fourth. Athletically, I think it's Jalen Lane over Ty Felton. But Jalen Lane is going to be very, very, very dominantly a special teamer as a rookie. So I'm not drafting Jalen Lane this year. I would take Luke McCaffrey over Jalen Lane if I have to go down that road. But yeah, I absolutely know who pretty much every single NFL player is for the most part. All day, I'll go Chad. Will Shipley, Woody Marks, Hunter Lloyd, and all. Yeah, there you go. Bunch of clicks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bunch of clicks at the end. I agree with all of these, except for Shipley. I'm not too high on Shipley. I might take a few shares here and there, but I'll have a bunch of Woody Marks, tons of Jarquez Hunter. You guys know how much I love Jarquez Hunter. And Marshawn Lloyd, same thing. Definitely good clicks. Thanks, Steven, man. Appreciate that. Imagine sleeping. Yeah. Who has time for that? All scrubs, he says. Lolsimo, what's happening, man? Appreciate you coming in. Stars, you like my team. We'll go over that maybe. Do we want to go over? There's a lot of teams to go over in here. We'll do a quick once over, and then we'll rip another draft. Actually, we won't. I'm just going to rip another draft because we did some pre-show stuff that I don't want this to go all night. I used to think maybe the badge was just for specific sport. Not every sport is available on Sportsbook. Yeah, no, it's for anything. You can get it for anything. It's kind of silly. They need to change it up. Oh, damn, I'm on the clock. Let's go. I didn't want Ford at all. Fuck. But that's okay. Could do worse. You could definitely do worse. Jeez, I did not want Jerome Ford. Pay attention, Cody. Yeah, we're just going to rip another draft after this. We're not going to go through all the teams. Yeah. Yeah. Dude can fly. I agree. He's going to be playing a lot of special teams. He's going to be doing a lot of kick returning. That's for sure. If you're in a league that has kick return yards, Jalen Lane might be a quality click in that league. And I am in one. So he might be on my team. So we'll see. And Pickens, yeah. I mean, sure. If you believe that, then draft him. I'm not going to be drafting much Jalen Lane at all, personally. I don't have to do anything, but I am going to take another running back and another tight end. That's for sure. So let's go like that. It's always Brashard Smith for me. It's always going to be Brashard Smith. I might end up, if Brashard Smith stays here, I might end up with fucking 60%, 50% Brashard Smith if he stays here in drafts. I have a pretty sweet Discord built. Would you be okay if I add you to the list of content providers that my Discord will get a notification when a system stream comes out? Trying to spread awareness. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I'm not really good at being on Discord. I am in Discord. I don't really talk much on there or do much or pretty much anything. But yeah, if you're gonna spread awareness and helps me, absolutely, yeah, I'll jump in there for sure. Don't expect me to talk too much or do too much. I'm a little too busy with Twitter and then the YouTube and then just my own life, and then Discord kind of takes a back seat to all that stuff. But yeah, I'd be in for that. I'd be in for that. Herzig took Ford in a puppy we were in today, so it can't be all bad. I think Ford's fine. Like if you're getting him, you're getting him in the 18th round, but I would have taken Brashard Smith here and been fine with it. And then Woody Marks went, Jarquez went. I probably would have rathered Brashard Smith and Marshawn Lloyd than Jerome Ford, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. My concern with Jerome Ford right now is that like they basically were trying to cut him, is what it sounds like. And then he just took a pay cut to stay on the team. Like that's not exactly a strong sign that they are like still in love with Jerome Ford. Obviously, Quinshon comes in and he's kind of the guy. And then Dylan Sampson comes in. He can do a lot of the things that Jerome Ford can do. So it's a little concerning that essentially they were just trying to cut him. So, yeah. Let's go, my guy, T. Ferg. You got to get Terrence Ferguson. I like doing that when I have two solid veteran tight ends and I need a third. Then give me a mystery box rookie. Let's do that. Where am I at on Ollie? I like Ollie's. I mean, he's a fine click in the 20th, and we'll see what happens in training camp. I'm not going to go overboard. I probably will try to get like a couple percent, like 2 or 3%, just a few clicks of Ollie Gordon. I think there's some room, especially at the goal line, especially in the red area, inside the 10. I think there's a lot of room for Ollie Gordon to be on the field with Devon Achane. We saw, and I think he had like 34, I believe, receptions. There was a tweet that was put out recently about running backs getting slot work. And it was either catches or snaps. I believe it was catches because it's more than 34 snaps in the slot for Achane, that's for sure. Either way, I think it was 34 catches out of the slot, which was like head and shoulders 20 plus more than any other running back in the NFL. And I know that they love doing it in the red area. So if you bring in Ollie Gordon in those types of formations where you have Waddle on one side, Hill on one side, Achane in the slot, and then Ollie Gordon in the back, it opens the door for the read option and there's the threat of running the ball with a big power back, right? While you still have all of that speed on the outside. Like all of them are 4-2 guys, for fuck's sakes. So it's pretty wild to have that on the outside. And then you have this big body running back. That's at least what I would do. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just what I would do if I were running that offense. I think it makes a lot of sense. Do a lot of the same things that you did last year and in previous years, but also open the door of having the threat of a runner and a running back, a big body guy too, that you have to be responsible for. So if you're playing nickel coverage, right? Like if they're like, call it 1st and 8, whatever, 2nd and 8 2nd and goal on the 8-yard line, 7-yard line, something like that. And you have all this speed on the outside and they're running nickel, then just give it to Ollie Gordon up the middle, right? Like he's going to plow over some of these nickel corners and these like nickel safeties and shit like that. Like no problem. So that's what I would do. I don't know if they will, but I'm going to hedge that I'm right a little bit and get some shares. Nothing crazy, but that's what I'm going to do. Appreciate you, Frank. Thanks for coming in, man. Ford is okay. May still have third down roll. Yeah, I think they're both going to play. Again, it's just not an outstanding endorsement of how they feel about Ford when they basically were like, hey, either we cut you or you take a pay cut. And it kind of hurts his value a little bit. Love T. Fergie. Terrence Ferguson was my guy in pre-draft, so definitely still liking him. Dolphins fan here, and I'm 100% in on Gordon. I like Gordon. I like him a lot. I think it can make sense if they run it kind of the way that I laid it out. That's what I would do. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean that's what they'll do, but that's what I would do. We ended up with a 2-6-7-3. I think this is going to be by a good chunk my most common structure. Jane Daniels, Drake May, Devon Achane, Cam Scatteraboo, Tajay Spears, Braylon Allen, Jerome Ford, Rashard Smith. That works for me. Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Josh Downs, Kyle Williams, double stacked Washington, double stacked New England, Kyle Pitts, Mike Gesicki, Terrence Ferguson. I like this team. I think it can definitely work out. Let's do another one. You guys want to rip another puppy? Let's do it. 30-second clock again. We're jumping in right now. Waiting for 5. Jump in and draft if you want to. We'll take a look at let's pop over and take a look at some of those teams quickly if we've got a sec. Al Boogie, 3582, Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Jackson Dart. I would have stopped at just 2, but I can understand where you're coming from. Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Jordan Mason, Isaac Rendo, Justice Hill. Don't mind it. I probably would have added another running back instead of Jackson Dart. Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton, Matthew Golden, Cedric Tillman, Johnston, Keenan Allen, Pat Bryant. Double stacked your Denver. Single stacked your double stacked your Green Bay. That works for me. George Kittle, Colston, Loveland. I like stopping at 2 there. That's good. That makes sense. 2-5-8-2, 3-5-8-2. Yeah, I probably would have taken another running back instead of Dart personally, but that's fine. Let's see where we're at. We're starting. Apologies, I can only go over 1 there. Deal me in. I've seen recently might be in the chat. CLN in the 4 spot. Champ X3 at the 8 spot. Losimo at 11, and me bringing up the rear of the 12 hole. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to get a sprinkle. Yeah. Like I said, probably 2-3% of Ollie Gordon, something like that. I definitely don't want to be shut out. Deal me in. Appreciate you coming in. I think you've been in some other streams. I think this is the first time I've seen you in mine, so appreciate you coming by. Good luck to you as well, CLN. If you're new to the channel, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button. I do things a little differently. I think a little differently than everyone else in this space, I think. I'm pretty firm. I stick to my guns. I'm not going to get bullied into taking people I don't think there's any value in. So if you like different takes, hit the subscribe button. We'll be drafting all summer long. And hit the like button as well if you don't mind. Not too many great options at the end. Frank took them all. That's fair. Frank will do that. Frank will do that. Boogs, give me 6 RB. You don't need Dart. Yeah. Frank took them all on him. That'll happen. That'll happen. Bijan on the 6th spot. That feels really nice. That feels really nice. Yeah, nice. Bijan at 6 is printing money. You got to feel pretty good about that. I don't know if I will yet, but I like to try to get different at the end. Pull guys up, potentially push guys down, whatever. We'll see who's there. We'll see who survives. If I can get 2 of these wide receivers, I will do that every single time, but I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, I think I know what I will do here. Yeah, let's just go BTJ and Drake London. That's my first Brian Thomas Jr. share of this draft cycle, but I'm only like 30 drafts in, not drafting too crazy yet until the schedule drops, especially Best Ball Mania. Not really drafting too much. which is, I don't know. It's fine. It's good to take a break, but when you're a power drafter like me, it's kind of slow. It's kind of sad, but that's all right. Patience is a virtue, and it could very much pay off. Like, it really doesn't make a lot of sense to be drafting before the schedule drop. I did want to get some best ball manias in on day one, which I did. I wanted to get my 10 in. I think I got 8, and I did just 2 little random ones. I do have a slow going right now that I'm like grinding to a halt. I'm taking the clock all the way down when it's my pick, literally auto drafting. Every single time it's my pick, which is probably infuriating for the people in the draft with me, but I'm trying to push it until the schedule gets released, at least as much of the draft as I can. So we'll see how that works out. I probably shouldn't have got into it, but it's fine. It's fine regardless. My last BBM, I landed Nico and BTJ from the 11. That feels pretty good. That feels very good. Who Hames, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Go sub to Who Hames as well. Who Hames channel is going off these days. A little earlier in the days. Earlier than me. I'm typically working when he's going, but sometimes I get to pop in and say hello. Nothing crazy going on. Everybody staying in their lane for the most part. So we'll see how people draft. A lot of badgeless in here. Again, as we know, doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Help me, oh my God. Help me, oh my God. That's quite the name. I love to see the wild names. Rough Buff Fire. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. Nothing really doing for news these days besides the Pickens thing. Man, that's what we should. Where did he go last draft? Let's take a peek at that. Where did he go in that draft that we just did? 50. Frank took him at 50. Okay, let's take a look at this. Where should he go? Where should he go? Shit, that's probably it, I guess. Like high end. Definitely needs to rise. High end wide receiver 2 is kind of the profile that we have to look at him like, right? Gets ahead of Pearsall, gets ahead of Golden. Judy should probably be rising. Judy should be going ahead of Godwin. Addison needs to fall behind all of these guys, in my opinion. Behind Odunze, behind Olave, behind Judy, behind Pickens. So if that's the case, then yeah, at least kind of, the mid 50s, at least. 50 might be good. Like right behind Cortland Sutton, Ridley, yeah. I can't really argue that. I think DK should pass Ridley. Probably Sutton. So, yeah, maybe 6 spots ADP wise. Nothing crazy, half a round. So, yeah, Pickens definitely does need to kind of fly up the board, at least 20 picks of ADP for George Pickens. Yeah, right above Addison. Let's call it 20 picks. Okay. So 50, 55 is fine, I think. Where'd we go? Look at the team. No, I think it was a good pick. I think that is where he's got to go. I think that's where he's kind of got to go. We're gonna take. Let's take Breece Hall for sure. let's just do this. Let's do Brees Hall, Josh Allen. It's a $5, so I was thinking about doing the whole Travis Hunter thing with BTJ, but that price is out of control for me as well. But we'll reassess that at another date. No, I think it was a good pick. I think that's where he's got to go. Is right around that 50, mid 50s. So at least 20 picks. Gabe Davis should always been cut. I don't have a single share of Gabe Davis in any draft, pre-draft, nothing. Gabe Davis is kind of DED, man. He's kind of dead. Catch it tomorrow. There you go. Pickens in front of Zay. That's close. That's kind of like, yeah. That's kind of where he needs to be anyways, just in that conversation. Ahead of Zay, I wouldn't take Pickens ahead of Zay. I'd put him right around here, right around 50s, mid 50s. So again, it's at least 20 picks of ADP value. So is he a turn pick? He's kind of, a 4 or 5 turn pick now. Or 5th round. He's a 5th round pick from a 7th to a 5th. Yeah, 2 full rounds of value there, I think. But we'll see where it kind of lands. Once Addison's suspension, Fernie will drop around for sure. Yeah, he should be below a bunch of these guys. That's another reason why I'm not taking any Jordan Addison. He's going way too high for lots of reasons, including the suspension. But there's other reasons for me on top of that. So I'm pretty out on Jordan Addison at cost right now. Pickens 5th round. Yeah. I'm just catching up to the chat. I agree. I think that's where he should be going, and will clearly start going. Pretty low on him. 3-4 turn for Metcalf. No, probably not. I think he gets to the 4-5 turn. I don't think he rises much. I think a little bit of a bump, but nothing too crazy. I think he gets, I can't remember what the rankings were like, but where did he go? Was he still on the board? Oh, he's still on the board. Yeah, so I think he goes ahead of Ridley, and then the Jameson Williams is top. I think he goes ahead of Sutton, DK. I think he goes ahead of Ridley. Honestly, give me DK over Ted McMillan. That's for damn sure. Like Ted McMillan's ADP is a little out of control too. 39. Yeah, that's fucking wild. Give me DK over McMillan. No, in a vacuum, no question. But as far as his ADP is concerned, he's still 4-5 turn pick in that area for me. I think Metcalf ends up there at the turn for sure. 3-4 or 4-5. I'm at a 4-5 turn personally. I don't think he goes too much higher than that. Yeah. I might have to. I don't even like his current price. We talking about DK? That must be what we were talking about. ETR has him ranked really high, and that will push his ADP up. Man, that's wild. Like closer to the 3-4 turn for DK Metcalf. I mean, so that means he goes ahead, ahead of Courtland Sutton. Yes, fine with that. Ahead of Travis Hunter, I'm fine with that. Ahead of Ted McMillan, I'm perfectly fine with that. Ahead of DJ Moore, I'm probably okay with that. Ahead of Devontae, I'm probably fine with that. I'm not sure I take him ahead of Zay personally. Worthy's closer. Probably fine with taking DK ahead of Worthy. I don't know if he gets that high. He could. I mean, when he was a Seahawk, he was a 3rd round pick. So, yeah, he could even when they had JSN, right? So, I don't know. I'm a little more leery on this offense with Arthur Smith. I'm just a bunch more leery on taking DK Metcalf that early. Like we've all been burned by DK before. So, I mean, yeah, if we'll see where it lands. Like I just took DK Metcalf in that last draft, which I'm fine with, but we'll see kind of where he lands. Roma Dunze here, almost always Roma Dunze. Should we live a little and take Harvey a little past ADP where it can make a little more sense? Should we live a little? Get some Harvey in our lives? It's such a hard click, but it's a puppy. Yeah, if I don't take him here, I won't take him ever. So it's $5. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't really like it, but whatever. It's fine. It'll be fine for this team. Yeah, I hate the Steelers pass catchers. No doubt, it's not a good situation. Yeah, are we talking about RJ Harvey? Probably. I don't like clicking it there at all. I really don't. But if I don't take him there, I'm never going to take him. If I don't take him 5 picks past ADP, I'm never going to get any shares. So I probably would not do that in a best ball mania unless it like severely made sense for my build, which it doesn't really here. So fuck it. If I don't click him there, I'm never going to click him. So let's just get a share. yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If like I said, I'll take some falling value on RJ Harvey once in a while if it's there just for shits and giggles. But again, if it's a best ball mania, it's a different story. Again, unless it severely lines up, like I have some Brock Bowers and some KC, stuff like that, some correlation. And then we'll see what the schedule release does, where it might make more sense to take RJ Harvey at times. But yeah. So I don't know. I'd be a little more leery with the DK Metcalf. Like I'm not pushing him up that far. I give him a half a round. I give him 6 picks, maybe 8, something like that. But I think if he's not a 4-5 turn pick, like as high as let's say 46, I'm gonna be leery. It'll have to make sense for my build for me to click him, early 4th round, 3-4 turn for sure. It'll have to very much make sense for how I'm building. And the schedule release might change that a little bit, but we'll see. I would have a hard time clicking DK Metcalf there personally. Yeah, definitely like Hampton and stuff like that. Genty, absolutely. It's perfectly fine in the puppy. Yeah, pretty much anything's perfectly fine in the puppy. Do some different stuff. It's $5. Who cares? Have some fun. Again, if you don't do like if I don't take RJ Harvey there, I'm never gonna get him. Never gonna click him. It's never gonna happen. So let's live a little. Let's get a click. This is a different team, anyways. Getting a little funky. Josh Allen wasn't necessarily the proper click there. Brees Hall might not have been either. Like Devontae Adams probably should have been one of my clicks, but pair up Brees Hall with Josh Allen as far as division correlation. It's always Roma Dunze here for me. And then RJ Harvey's just fun, I guess. Or I've been told it's fun. So let's have some fun. I really don't think he should be going that high. That's for damn sure. I mean, where should Harvey be going? Probably in this range would make some sense. Like after Judkins, give me Judkins. Give me Kamara, give me Henderson. Swift, we'll see. But yeah, nothing crazy. What is that? A round? Yeah, a round more because it's at 56 now. So 20 picks, probably. He would need a 20 pick fall to realistically make some sense, if in my opinion. But I don't know. Let's get some shares. It's fun. Again, so I'm told. 1, 2, 3, 0. So wide receiver range coming up. Almost certainly it'll be 2 wide receivers in this range, especially with Josh Allen there. Now I can wait a little bit to get my my second quarterback. I could wait kind of as long as I possibly can. Davis Maddock used to do this for fun. Draft. I was saying the same thing. Down with Demont. Yeah. Yeah. In that range. More like just the Judkins, Caleb, like rookies. Like with these rookies is where he should be going. Even further than David Montgomery. Well, it depends. David Montgomery went there, which is fine, but he should be going, in the 70s is where I think RJ Harvey's ADP should be. Like Tony Pollard is arguably a better click. And it's not a difficult argument, realistically. So, yeah. We're up. We're on the clock. What do we want to do? Probably 2 wide receivers. Definitely Ricky Pearsall. That's an easy one. And then Shakir didn't fall into my lap, which is fine. Let's do Ricky Pearsall and let's do Let's do Pearsall and let's just do Darnell. There we go. Makes the most sense. Makes the most sense. Let's do that. One, 2, 5, 0 through 8. Definitely going to be very common. Again, I'm going to be taking a lot of these wide receivers. A lot. It's a massive cliff after Josh Downs here. Massive cliff of uncertainty. Like Higgins makes sense if you want to stack Houston. Trey Harris makes sense if you want to stack the Chargers. Keon makes sense for me with Josh Allen. Mims makes sense if you're pairing him with Knicks. Bateman makes sense with Lamar, and he's fine. Click on his own, realistically. Kirk makes sense again with the Houston side. So there's a lot of just more uncertainty, rookies, injuries, that sort of thing. I think after Josh Downs, there's not a huge, but a nice 10-foot cliff that would hurt if you fell down. You know what I mean? It's not going to kill you, but it'll hurt you. You know what I mean? Maybe break a leg, that sort of thing. It disbanded agrees with that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this range of wide receiver. And then it's like, there's a bunch of good clicks like spattered in throughout here. Except towards the end. Like I like Yoshi Voss a lot at the end here. I like Darius Slayton a fair amount at the end. Wicks is a good click at the end, in my opinion. Maybe that's something we'll do in the next episode is just talk about where some value might be. It's tough. Honestly, it's tough to find value. I just don't think there's any value at quarterback late. I really, 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 really don't. I really don't see any value at quarterback. Kirk Cousins could be. If he, ends up in Pittsburgh, then obviously that's a massive value. But other than that, like Derek Carr, I'm not really hinging my fantasy team on Derek Carr, that's for sure. Joe Flacco definitely won't play all year. He'll be fun when he plays, but it's not going to be a crazy amount. Milroe probably doesn't play. Daniel Jones could be something, but again, I'm not hinging my fantasy team on the back of Daniel Jones. Shadur's not playing this year. At least he shouldn't. He better not. He'll get killed if he does. It'll be bad. Tyler Shuck probably does play, almost certainly, but how effective is he going to be? I don't know. Wilson will play quite a bit, but he might not be playing when it really matters in the fantasy playoffs. So that's a huge concern. Aaron Rodgers, I want to see him sign first. Then we'll take it from there. And even then, like, yeah, he was pretty effective last year. He was pretty effective, but again, in Pittsburgh, zero fun offense, just DK Metcalf to throw to. And I don't think that changes. So I don't know, maybe some random like Keenan Allen, maybe. Other than that, it's pretty light. So he's gonna get comfortable handing the ball off. Yeah, just not a lot of value down here. I really don't see it. And then I just think there's too much at tight end. That's where the value is. So I'm gonna have a hard time taking too much of this like Bowers McBride situation. I will get my shares though. I'll probably just be at field. I don't want to be zero with Bowers and McBride, even though I think it was fine to be a zero in the big board on Brock Bowers, given him being a 1-2 turn kind of guy. Trey McBride being down here at the 2-3 turn or into the third round, I think was a fine click in the big board. But yeah, in Best Ball Mania season over the summer, it's a completely different tournament, completely different structure, completely different story. So I will get my at field shares of Brock Bowers and definitely Trey McBride. Same with somebody like George Kittle, right? All these other guys as well. But yeah, the value's at tight end. So you're going to see a lot of this type of 2-2-6-0, 1-3-5-0, shit like that I'm going to really settle on. And we'll just take it from there. McBowers, absolutely. Is that something I said? I probably did. If I said McBowers, it's kind of funny. You know what I'm talking about. I think I want to take another running back, maybe right here. Tight end could fit. Yeah, tight end could fit here. I'm really happy with my wide receiver room, obviously. It's in a really good spot. Brees Hall. Fields is such a smash around here, but I won't be taking him with this team. Not with Brees Hall. I don't think it makes a crazy amount of sense, but I do think that Fields is an absolute smash in this range in the 10th round or in the 9th. Yeah, more in the 9th, really. That's where his ADP is at. Scattaboo falls in my lap. I will take Scattaboo and I will take Coleman. Tight end's a really tempting click here with Mark Andrews, but let's do that. I kind of think that Coleman's the best click around here. I really do. I really do. I really think that Coleman is the best click in this kind of range. I know he's been shit on lately, and I don't completely agree or understand why. Second-year player, first pick in the second round. I think that Coleman is the best wide receiver click in this whole range, but I could be on an island on that one, and I could be completely wrong, but that's my take on it. Yeah. This Fields price is the same bet as Jaden last year. Sort of, yeah, sort of. And I'm fine with making that bet personally. I was betting on Jaden last year. I'm betting heavily on Fields this year. So I made the bet on Jaden. I'm going to make the bet on Fields. I already have been making the bet on Fields, and I'm going to continue to make the bet on Fields. And I'm still making the bet on Jaden Daniels, even at his new price in this tournament. So yeah, I think we'll see, but I think Justin Fields will be able to win enough games to keep a job throughout the whole season. That's for sure. And they don't really have much for options behind him regardless. So I think he'll be fine. He won games, and the defense, like this, the Jets are sneaky. They're a sneaky good team. Mark my words, the Jets are going to surprise some people. I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs, and they're in the AFC. It's a super tough division. It's a super tough conference. But I think the Jets are going to be more competitive than people think or are giving them credit for. I actually really like their team. I like their offense. I like their defense. I like Aaron Glenn as a coordinator. He was a little rude to Aaron Rodgers, but who gives a shit? I think the Jets are going to be sneaky good and give a lot of teams troubles. That's an offense, too, that can give teams a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Anytime you have a quarterback like Justin Fields, there's an X factor back there that you have to account for. They have 2, maybe 3 really good running backs, a really good rookie tight end, and a quality, vet third-year tight end that can do some good stuff. Garrett Wilson is really good. The offensive line is in a really good spot. Defense is in a really good spot. It's just, I don't know. I think the Jets are going to be better than people think. That's for sure. I really, really do. But we'll see. We'll see on that. I could be wrong. But I'm making the bet that the Jets have a good offense. They can score a lot of points. They can do good things on defense and stay in a lot of games. They can certainly run the ball and play defense. And that's a big thing you got to do to win football games in the NFL. I think that they are going to be good for best ball fantasy. I do. We'll see what their matchup is. That could be a big, caveat to this conversation and this statement. Yeah, we'll see what the schedule looks like for the playoffs and who they're playing week 17. But I think that, certain pieces, like I'm drafting a lot of Garrett Wilson. I'm drafting a lot of Breece Hall. I'm drafting a lot of Justin Fields. I'm drafting a lot of Mason Taylor. That's pretty much, and a lot of Braylon Allen. So I'm drafting a lot of all of those players. Who's the Jets wide receiver other than Wilson? Allen Lazard will be on the other side. Arian Smith is a rookie they just drafted this year. Malachi Corley is still there. Who's that other slot guy they have? Smith, Xavier Smith, I believe. What am I doing here? I guess it's Kincaid. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go Penix and Pitts. I'm a little concerned about Kincaid, but we can talk about that another day. Let's go Penix and Pitts here. Triple stack my Atlanta side. I kind of like it. I'm done at quarterback, obviously. Seems fun. It could be fun. Yeah, that's if that was a skill testing question. I think there's like 5 wide receivers there. Yeah, I think they're going to be running just a crazy amount of 12 personnel. I really, really do. Like 70% 12 personnel, where it's Mason Taylor, Jeremy Ruckert, throwing a little Stone Smart in there, and then Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard. And then a spattering of when they do 11 personnel, they bring in Malachi Corley or Arian Smith and kind of run it that way. And they run the shit out of the ball. I think Breece Hall and Braylon Allen both get work. I think Justin Fields obviously runs the ball a fair amount. And they just play good defense and stay in games. They kind of hang and bang. That's kind of how I think the Jets are going to play offense and play football and be competitive. Just run the ball, play your defense, and hang and bang. So we'll see. I'm not drafting any other wide receivers. I'm not drafting any other wide receivers for the Jets. That's for sure. Those 5 players I named or whatever it was, the only wide receiver I'm drafting is Garrett Wilson. The only tight end I'm drafting is Mason Taylor, even though I like Jeremy Ruckert quite a bit. And then I'm drafting both the running backs. So, there's only certain pieces that make sense. Realistically, there's only certain pieces that make sense in any Justin Fields type of an offense. Look at when he was on the Bears, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, the running back, and Justin Fields. So same thing here, in my opinion. But there's some other warm bodies in there. some other warm bodies with a pulse that play football for the Jets. Cole Kmet in the 12th round. You could have waited, pal. I think he probably could have waited, bud. I think he could have waited. Doesn't even get drafted pretty well ever anymore. Yeah, he did. He did say he needs help. Help me, oh my God. You could definitely use some help on that one, yeah. Just really felt like it might have been a star method. I wasn't paying attention if he autoed. Yeah, it's really pick that it's the only pick that doesn't really make sense. He's a fine pick. Like, I don't mind bringing in Cole Kmet when you're back stacking, Bird in there, brought in Caleb. Okay, cool. I'm fine with all that. It was probably a star method. I'm gonna imagine it had to have been an auto. That's Cole Kmet drafted himself, no doubt. I was in a draft one time where this player, Devin Culp, was drafted in the 3rd round. And that was the only offsides wild kind of pick. It was all ABC outside of Devin Culp in the 3rd round. I was like, that's Devin Culp's dad or something. Like, what? Who would be clicking Devin Culp? Even who would even be starring that guy? Who would even, look him up? Who would stumble across that name? That was some point during the big board, and there was the drafts didn't get thrown out, nor should it. It shouldn't get thrown out. But yeah, that happened, and I was kind of blown away by it. But either way, man, I guess geez, Jordan Love, what a friggin' discount. I just can't do it. But if I'm gonna get Dalton Kincaid there, 13th, 14th round Dalton Kincaid, then missed out on Josh Palmer, so I'll throw my hands up in the air and take Dalton Kincaid. And yikes. I guess I just take a share of Tillman. I guess. I don't really like that too much, but let's do it, I guess. I don't love that, but there's really no one else to click here. Yeah. Man, Lolsimo, what a discount on Jordan Love. That does make sense for this build too. Do you have any Green Bay pieces? Yeah, Romeo Dobbs, sure. What a gift. That's a wild one. That's a wild one. 32 picks past ADP, 33 picks past ADP. Wild. For Jordan Love, hey? Interesting. Be different, no doubt. No doubt. Get your guys. It's get your guys season already, I guess. I wasn't expecting get your guys season to start so quick, but here we are. We're there. We made it. We're already there. Before the schedule's even released, it's get your guys season. Yeah. I don't love that Tillman click, but it could be good. He's just got to be over this concussion situation. That's really concerning for me. It's really, really concerning for me for a young guy to miss the last 5 games of a season due to concussion. That's a huge concern, huge red flag for me. But you got to figure he's healthy. Hopefully he's over it. Just because you have concussion issues doesn't mean it's going to be an issue for the rest of your career. He's still a young player. I did like Tillman a lot last year. So let's get some shares. They didn't bring anybody in the draft. That's a big concern for Judy, Tillman, Njoku, none of that. So I guess that the price is right at ADP. So a 13-14 turn pick. Yeah, get whoever you want, really. And I guess his ceiling is higher than pretty well anyone else down here. I might be talking myself into getting more Tillman shares. What's Palmer's actual ADP? 53. Like, give me Josh Palmer over Cedric Tillman, but I might be talking myself into getting more Cedric Tillman these days. You have to figure his ceiling is higher than literally anyone else down here. Like Palmer, you could say, could have a higher ceiling. Jalen Noel for sure, but he's in a different kind of category, different tier, different range. And Palmer might get there as well. And if that's the case, if Jalen Noel and Josh Palmer are both in a different kind of range than Tillman is the best click on the board down here. Maybe Keenan Allen, depending on where he lands. Fuck. I might be talking myself into Cedric Tillman here, guys. I think I might be. We'll see where Keenan Allen goes, but and this was in like 4 games that he did all this. Maybe like 5 games where he had this stretch, this run. Interesting. I'm going to have to keep that in the back pocket. And I'm going to have to do some looking. I'm going to have to do some digging, see if that makes sense. But realistically looking at it, I think that's just it. Like, he has the highest ceiling out of any wide receiver down here. Yeah. I guess I'm talking myself into Cedric Tillman these days. That's how she goes. Am I done at wide receiver? I don't think I want to be. I'm definitely going to need 6 running backs here. 4 more picks. So it's either, I think I'm going to have to be okay with Pitts and Kincaid here. I think I'm going to have to be okay with Pitts and Kincaid. Let's take a Devin Neal share for a little bit of Atlanta correlation. And then it's Brashard Smith always, but really it probably should be Marshawn Lloyd here. Yeah, let's take Marshawn Lloyd, actually. Losimo, if you wanted him with your Jordan Love, you should have taken him instead of Gesicki there. So apologies, but that's on you, dog. That's on you. Brett Jones. I know a guy named Brett Jones. I don't know if that's the same Brett Jones. What do I think of Harold Fannin? Could he be relevant? Pretty hard sell. It's a pretty hard sell. Stefanski's, pretty creative offensive coordinator. He could be that big slot, kind of a tight end, a lot like, Isaiah Likely. in 12 personnel. I'm not drafting Harold Fannin realistically. The team is just a steaming pile of hot garbage right now. We're not sure who the quarterback's going to be week in, week out. Like once the season gets here, that quarterback room, that quarterback situation is going to be in a lot of turmoil. If anyone other than Joe Flacco is throwing the football, we're not super excited for any of these pass catchers, really. So, yeah, I'm not taking any Harold Fannin right now. Could things change? Sure, but I highly doubt it. There's just too many other good clicks. Like, give me Noah Gray over Fannin, no question. Give me Noah Gray. I'll take a shot on Elijah Arroyo. Give me Tyler Conklin. Give me Juwan Johnson. Give me Terrence Ferguson. Give me Chika Okonkwo. Give me Jatavian Sanders. All these guys over Fannin. I guess if you end up having to take 3 tight ends with your last 3 picks of the draft, then and you go like Noah Gray, Juwan Johnson, and Harold Fannin, that's pretty sick, but I could see where you're coming from. So that's where I'm at. I'm not taking any Harold Fannin right now, that's for sure. Could work out, I suppose, but I just really don't see it. I really, really don't see it happening for him in year 1. Could change in year 2, but we'll see what they end up doing at quarterback. Once they're one of the worst teams in the league, probably, and they're in the I don't know, maybe Drew Alar, maybe Arch Manning, but Arch Manning might not come out next year. So I think teams that are, or fan bases, I should say, that are thinking their team is tanking for Arch Manning should probably punt the brakes a little bit on that idea, because Arch Manning might not be coming out next year. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, I think I'm going to go one more running back, one more wide receiver. I think this is too thin for me to stop at 7 wide receivers. I can get by with Pitts and Kincaid, I think. So let's give that a whirl. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Rough Buff Fire takes my guy, Rashard Smith. Maybe he's in the chat. I don't know. But that's a good click. That's a good click regardless. If you're just popping in, hit that like button for me if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, you like the content, hit the subscribe button. Helps me out a ton. Free for you. Helps me out. Keeps me going. Channel's been growing like crazy since we restarted in still winter, but in February when we start drafting the big board. The channel's been flying. Help me out. Hit the buttons. Do the stuff. Be a friend. Tell a friend. All that. Only if you like the content, though. A lot of clicks down here I like. A lot of clicks down here I like. I'd rather take a vet at running back, but there's really no veteran running backs down here that I like personally. And there's a lot of rookies down here I like. So that's the way we're going to go. Wide receiver, definitely some clicks left on the board. We'll see what happens. We'll see who Lolsimo takes here. This guy bleeding the clock all the way down. Tyler Lockett sighting. Deal me in goes 3 quarterbacks late. That might be a little touch and go. Bully RB, 3 straight running backs. Sutton, DK, Debo. Not much a correlation there, except for DK and Aaron Rodgers and Freiermuth. All right, double stack Pittsburgh. Oh shit, I'm on the clock. Damn it. Well, 3 tight ends then. And we're going running back. Let's do Jarquez. I wanted Dontavian Wicks here. Twice we auto draft in one night. That's embarrassing. That's annoying. What else do we have? Sam Darnold. Naked. Anthony Richardson naked's fine regardless. Interesting strategy. CLN, CDT Higgins, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, James Cook. Little 0 RB action. Ridley Myers, Caleb. I like this build. Dak, Cam Ward, and Geno. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work for me. A little bit different. Couple bringbacks in the Jacksonville side with Strange and Bashal Tootin for the Tennessee game. Ridley as well. Okay. Yeah, don't mind that. Champ X, we got Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers, Kyron, Jaden Daniels, George Pickens. Okay. Connor Pollard, Baker. Baker and Daniels. Eckler with Daniels. Baker's naked. Interesting. Lolsimo, Nico, Henry, Evans, Adams, Addison, Montgomery, Fields, JJ McCarthy, Jordan Love. That feels really nice, especially with the huge discount on Jordan Love. Gotta like that. I like just Fields click. Addison with JJ McCarthy. Gesicki, Taylor, Mason Taylor. That feels good. Shipley, Calvin Austin. I don't mind. Little Calvin Austin sighting. Yeah, that'll work. I like my team. I tend to draft 3 quarterbacks still without knowing bye weeks. Once we get that info, I'm usually always 2. Yeah, me as well. I'm just taking it's $5. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, it's not the end of the world, especially with like a Josh Allen build. It's definitely not the end of the world. But yeah, I'm taking the risk on just 2. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's all. That's why I'm not doing a lot of BBMs. Like if I'm wrong on 3 of these BBMs, that's annoying. But we'll see. Like I have 10. Again, if 3 have the same bye week, it doesn't even kill you. It doesn't kill you. It hurts a lot, but it doesn't, absolutely kill you and destroy your team. That's for sure. So, we'll see. But I'm not doing any more BBMs. Like I'll burn a $5 bill, but I'm not going to burn a $25 bill. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be the show for tonight. We'll be back. What are we, Wednesday today? We'll be back probably Friday. Yeah, probably Friday. We'll be back live. If not, on the weekend for sure, something like that. Once the schedule gets released, it'll be more frequent. It'll be every other day sort of a thing, most likely, or something along those lines. 3 or 4 times a week is what we'll do. We'll have some guests on for fun. I like doing solo a lot, depending on what it is. If I'm giving my own opinion, I like to give it completely unabated, without any input, without any, interjection, whatever. If it's something that I want to get my opinion out, I'm not going to have a guest on. I want to make sure that it's unabated. It's just my opinion. And, that's it. If you appreciate that, then great. If you don't, then, wait till I have guests on. I don't know. But either way, hit the like button on your way out. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. Like we always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. We bank a big one. We'll see you on the next stream. Have yourselves a great night. Peace.